I keep hearing people say that groceries are more expensive than eating out these days, and that might be true. If you can't grocery shop worth a damn.
This economy is so bad, you'll be sitting here thinking you're bad with money, and all you did was buy food.
Everyone keeps blaming overpriced foods for why they're broke. And although food prices, I agree, are extortionately high, the ambitious men watching this video right now know that men do not complain, they act accordingly. And in this video, my friends, I'm going to show you a mix of these debates and to see if it's really the reason that foods are overpriced for why people are broke, or if it's actually more their habits. Because the habits people have around food, almost no one talks about it. So let's dive straight into the first video. If you're new here, my friends, hello, my name is Vic. I react to content related to finance from all over the internet and help you, ambitious men, get smarter with your money and building better financial discipline, even when it's related to food prices, by making sense of the simple lessons that we're about to discover in this video today.
I keep hearing people say that groceries are more expensive than eating out these days, and that might be true. If you can't grocery shop worth a damn. Oh, a McDonald's burger is $7, but all the ingredients for a burger at the grocery store is $17. Yeah, but you can have burgers all week. It might not be what you want, but 8 out of 10 times, groceries are always going to be cheaper. Now, do I want to cook? That's a different story. There have been times when all I had was 2 nickels to rub together. I would go to the store and buy a rotisserie chicken, a sack of potatoes, and vegetables for like $30, and that would last me all week. You try to go out there and eat out on $30 all week and try to get decent protein and nutrition, and especially if you're trying to lose weight. You try to go out there and eat healthy, eating out on a budget, and see if you need to sell a kidney. Another example is pre-cut fruit. I love me some pre-cut watermelon from Publix. Ooh, the best. But if my funds were low, I gotta cut the damn watermelon myself. I could buy a watermelon for $6, and 3 slices of Publix watermelon is like $6.50. So yes, grocery shopping is more expensive than eating out, if you can grocery shop correctly.
What this guy's saying may sound like such a small thing, but this is exactly how people end up living paycheck to paycheck. And not only that, even with the burgers that this guy's saying you could eat for the whole week, because it's protein, it actually keeps you more satiated, it actually keeps you more full. And these little habits look so small, but over the course of the year, my friend, it will save you substantial amounts of money. Because let's be honest, the real question isn't really going food shopping or grocery shopping versus eating out. It's discipline versus convenience. Exactly like this comment, look, cutting DoorDash and Instacart has been a game changer for me. That's a high premium to pay on laziness, because convenience is one of the most expensive habits that people build. And then say that they're not earning enough when actually their income is probably not the problem. It's the choices they make and their habits. Because even with like this guy, Uber Eats, Deliveroo, whatever food services you buy from, you're not just paying for convenience. It gets even more expensive because you're paying for delivery and service fees and tips. Here's another comment. You can get a bag of rice, some veggies, preferably canned, for cheap, a rotisserie chicken, and maybe some sausage, and have dinner for about $20. I don't need to be in the USA to know that this is going to be true. And even if you're here in the UK, you could literally go out for about £4 or £5, get yourself a nice 500 to 750 grams, something like that, chicken thigh fillets, personally my own personal favorite. And if you eat that, not only are you hitting your protein goal to build the gains, but you're actually also gonna feel so full. Let's look at another comment, my friend. Now it's so much cheaper to meal prep, even getting some frozen essentials when you're super tired, a bag of General Tso chicken, frozen vegetables, and rice at Aldi easily gives me 2 meals for about $10. Personally, I don't like meal prepping. I'll just buy something that's really easy, like chicken, just to cook, shove in the oven, and then eat the protein. So then it fits my protein goal and also my calorie goal. And then it just reduces my decision fatigue substantially, which also reduces my overall spending dramatically. And this comment here, my friend, I think is the real issue. You might want to listen to this one because it's by Brie, and she says, "My issue is I do not want a burger 5 days in a row, but that's on me." At least she's acknowledged it. Because although I do believe you should enjoy food, I do feel it's important to eat with purpose. Build your body, eat protein, go to the gym, lift weights, and you'll feel good. And not only that, you'll actually save on money. You'll save on food. You will. Especially because stuff like McDonald's right now is absolutely an extortionate amount. It's like literally 20 chicken nuggets is almost 10 quid. Like, what the actual fuck? Overpriced food is a problem, and income does matter. But my friends, what matters most is your own behavior, your own habits, and your own choices that you make in relation to what food you buy. To not only keep you fuller for longer, there's actually low calorie and high protein dense to be able to do so.
Came across this video of a plus-size lady explaining why people can't lose weight.
Your physique is 100% in your control.
I think there are more things that are out of your control. It is so much more expensive to eat healthy than it is to eat like crap. If I go to the grocery store and I just want to buy a bunch of frozen meals, that's going to be so much cheaper than me going and buying fresh produce and fresh fruit and everything.
Cope harder. Her sentence alone tells you everything about where we're at as a society. It's people like this that just regurgitate stuff they hear online without ever stepping foot in an actual grocery store. They see one bad tweet about Whole Foods being expensive and automatically assume chicken and potatoes cost $300. You see, the problem here isn't that Whole Food is expensive, it's that overly processed bull crap is much more convenient. You have trained your brain to think anything that takes more effort to cook automatically costs more. This whole idea that being fit is a privilege if you can afford it is beyond corny. We've built this culture where people would rather argue about access to nutrition than go for a frickin' walk. Fact of the matter is this, you can find Whole Foods that fit in your budget. You just gotta stop making coping your personality trait.
Checkmate. And notice, and in no way am I fat shaming here, I could literally care less. But just notice that the one woman that said your physique is 100% in your control is the only one that actually has a good physique. And when the woman who was clearly overweight, when she was talking about it with the produce being more expensive and stuff like that than frozen meals, like respectfully, what the hell are you talking about? All the other women that were also overweight were like, oh yeah. As Joe McEnroe says, you cannot be serious. Eating less apparently costs more. I don't know how that works. My point exactly. You could literally buy a massive kilogram, even 5 kilogram bag of rice. And yeah, sure, it may be quite expensive, but that would literally feed you for weeks, even months. It's actually quite the opposite. Pre-packaged, pre-cooked, prepared meals are way more expensive than ingredients. Exactly my point. I don't know what she was talking about when she said that. But I suppose when you don't actually go to the supermarket to shop, how else are you going to know? And it's again, like the other comment we talked about just a second ago, it's a convenience premium again. Onions, carrots, potatoes, rice, chicken, all dirt cheap. Yes, they really are. Simplicity wins all the time. And yeah, if you're going to get boring with your food, who cares? Eat with purpose. Again, I'll say that to the guys and the ambitious men watching this channel. My friends, build your physique as best as you can. You don't need to look insanely good, but these foods will help. And actually, these foods not only will help, but they're actually cheaper than whatever else you are eating if you are on the more overweight side of the scale. Without any muscle, this is. Not in a bulky way. Frozen is cheaper, but there are frozen vegetables. You don't have to get pizza. And 100% is true. And the real issue isn't really the frozen food, but it's the type of frozen food that you choose to buy and to eat. That's all I'm saying.
This economy is so bad, you'll be sitting here thinking you're bad with money, and all you did was buy food. That's it. And not luxury food, regular food, just survival items. You check your bank account like, who did this? It was eggs. Eggs did this. You didn't splurge. You didn't treat yourself. You just needed to eat more than once a day. Groceries used to be a neutral experience, just a regular part of life. Now it's a financial event. You walk into the store calm, and you walk out like you made a series of reckless choices. Just one bag, $80, no explanation. Okay, and the worst part is the math you got to do. You're like, okay, if I just don't eat out for 2 weeks, why is food being framed as a hobby? People give advice like, you just budget better. For what, air? I love when banks send the alerts like, you've spent more than usual on groceries. Yeah, I noticed. I was there. Okay, at this point, I'm not bad with money. Money is bad with me. Okay, if I say I'm saving this month, what I really mean is I'm choosing which meals to skip.
I did tell you in this video we're going to have a mixed debate, and this is part of that. And I'm not going to be a massive dickhead and keep saying budget, because obviously it's clearly not just the case. Because if you look at this graph here, my friend, you can clearly see with UK being the leader in the CPI, the Consumer Price Index, you could see from 2018 to 2023 that actually the CPI has increased drastically, especially for the UK, closely followed by the USA. And because of that, the food prices would have increased substantially. As you can see, in UK, food prices have increased by over 30% since 2020, with some estimates suggesting 36.9% increase by July 2025, which has already happened, and we have felt that, hence the rising costs of living. And in the USA, it's not much different, with food prices increasing 25% since the pandemic began, with a steep rise, which we all felt, but very close to a similar percentage like the UK of around 30%. And I don't even have the stats, but especially in the USA, I'm pretty confident that housing, childcare, and healthcare, those have risen even more, let alone the food. So not only are you guys struggling with food, but you've got that on top as well. And this just puts puts the importance of food into perspective, in my opinion, as well. But the good thing about this, my friends, that again, it's all about margin. You don't need to go and eat out. You could just get a nice, really nice meal, depending where you're from one of your cheapest stores, whether it's USA or UK. Like in UK, you got Lidl and Aldi, and there's still very good prices, in my own opinion. Like I said, a kilogram of chicken is around £6.50. This kilogram of chicken is not only more than enough to meet your protein goals for the day, but you could actually eat that chicken for about 2 to 3 days. And whey protein shakes as well to supply your protein intake on top of that. And you could have that with some nice ready-made rice or whatever, because ready-made rice is literally like £1, if that, for one packet, if you want to be lazy like me. Or you can just make it and buy a bigger bag and then make the rice yourself. But regardless, my friends, they're both quite cheap options. And no matter how good your income is, my friends, if you've got no margin, meaning no money left over for anything, for those important things like investments or savings, etc., especially investments, and if your spending grows along with your high income, then it doesn't matter what you're going to do. If you don't have any money left over, if you have no margin, then it's not the overpriced foods that are the problem. It's your habits of spending that are.
I've just come back from Aldi and apparently I need a mortgage to start doing food shop for my weight loss journey. When I started 75 hard, I told myself less food means less cost, right? Or more. Tell me why I've gone to Aldi and I've left with a receipt longer than my waistline used to be before I started 75 hard. There is nothing cheap about eating healthy. You know that quiet price sneaking up, and I know state of economy is horrible, but oh more, come on now. I didn't see Kinder Bueno's price increase. It's actually gone from £1.75p. I've been noticing. You won't increase Kinder Bueno, but you increase chicken breast. What are we doing here? I've started walking through these supermarkets and slowly I'm noticing the prices creeping up. Last week, chicken thighs, £2.20. This week is £2.99. Is this a play? Is it a joke? What are we meant to do? You won't increase Kinder Bueno, but you increase chicken thighs. Can see it. You know. Like I picked up salmon the other day. I looked at it and I saw £5.60 for four. Like four tiny squares. I had to ask myself, please, everybody please wait. Is this salmon infused with the Holy Spirit or something? What are we doing here? Salmon. £5.60 for 4. Meanwhile, in the corner, there's pizzas whispering to me. 2 pizzas for £3. 3 for £5. There's ready-made meals for £1.50. Unhealthy nonsense. Way cheaper. Like you're telling me I can get a whole meal for the price of a snack. I have to pretend tastes nice. And honestly, I kind of get it now. Like I get why people give up. To me now, it feels like weight loss isn't just a mental battle or physical battle. It's financial warfare. Let me tell you something. If you're starting this healthy eating journey, maybe I've missed out somewhere. Please just set up a savings account on the side. Maybe I'm doing something wrong and you can show me in the comments. But to me, eating healthy seems like the expensive option. It's getting ridiculous, man. It's getting ridiculous.
Alright, that guy was quite funny, I must admit. But my friends, the ambitious men listening to this video, please make sure that you understand that there's an illusion behind this, and I'll explain in a second what I mean. But supermarkets do not do this randomly. Cheap junk food is often used as a loss leader to get people into the store. And if you don't know what loss leaders are items sold very cheaply to increase overall spending. Literally like this comment here is saying 100% they keep junk food cheap. Healthy people aren't good for businesses, economy, government, etc. Of course. You guys already know this. But something like this guy that may not be aware of is, yeah, he's saying £2.29 for chicken and then £2.99, whatever. It's 70p increase, right? First of all, it's not the end of the world, and chicken keeps you so satiated. My friend, you have to understand this. This is, in my opinion, based on a portion illusion. Because when you buy a chicken, even if it's a £6 packet of chicken, that can produce you 4 really nice, high quality, dense meals versus a single pizza that you get for £3. Even if it's £3, yeah, it's cheaper, but actually that's going to last you literally 1 meal. And my friend, even if this saves you something like £50 a month, you may be wondering, so what? Make sure you watch till the end of the video because I'll show you why it's so important, even something as small as £50 a month that you can save and then actually invest it. And based on speculation, what the results could look like. Because they're much bigger than you think for not doing much upfront other than just making better purchasing options for food instead of overspending. People think eating healthily is expensive, but when they're in a hospital having to get treatments, that's where you're paying the most for your health. And it's actually funny because it's an angle I didn't even look at before. There's an angle I didn't even think about before, and it's actually so true. Especially if you're in America, the expense of your health will be substantially so much more. And to be honest, even if we're in the UK now, it's best to get health insurance. Even though the NHS is free, the waiting times are actually unreal. And this is your health. You can't put it second to none, my friend. In my opinion, you should really consider this because it's actually a very valid point. And before I show you why saving such a small amount, even like £50, is so important, and even though it looks negligible to you and it really doesn't look like it will make a difference, I want to show you just one more clip, which I think is an important point that rounds everything together.
This is how much it costs for 1 week's worth of food to go from fat and love handles to lean and muscular. For proteins, I have 14 packs of ground beef, which is 7 kg. and 96 eggs. Yes, I eat around 14 eggs and 1 kg's worth of ground beef every day. This adds to a total of £80, 15p. And the rest of the food shop, we got some fruits like watermelon, we got coconut water and rice for carbs. Simple as that. If you think this is too extreme for you, you probably build like this thing here.
I guess it does depend on how much protein you eat. But to be honest, this comment by this guy, £91 times 4, is a lot of money on Food Lad. I actually do agree with. I would say that's actually quite a bit, even if you're going to eat a lot of protein, because I eat about 180 grams of protein every single day. This is obviously per person for a single person. A week I spend on average maybe round about anything between 40 to 60 pounds. So it's really not much at all. So lads, do not worry. Even though this guy would say £91 is still not bad, you could definitely get it for cheaper by just sticking to just yogurts, chicken, beef mince like this guy. Although for me personally, I do prefer chicken thigh fillets or just chicken breasts. That's the best protein to calorie ratio, especially when it comes to cutting, in my own opinion. And like this guy says, £100 a week, mate, there is way more nutritious and tastier food you could spend all that money on, and I'd be bored after the third day. Look, for me, in my own opinion, my friend, the nutrition, stuff like this, as long as I'm hitting the protein goal, it really doesn't matter too much. I think you just have to keep it very simple. Obviously, vitamins, etc. are important, but I would say the number one thing is hitting that protein every single day. You're going to get a balanced diet anyway, because I genuinely would say, again, if you buy something like chicken, yeah, it may not be, you don't need to make an incredibly good meal. It could just be a boring meal with chicken, rice, slap a bit of salt and pepper, some nice, a few spices here and there, Cajun pepper, salt, paprika, cumin, all good. And that will fill you up. I'm telling you, that will really fill you up. But anyway, this is what's most important for you. This is what you want to hear. So I'm going to tell it to you now. And that is that even with something like £50, like you say, like you may be thinking is negligible, it's not that much. But let's say you're a youngster like this guy. Let's say you're around 25 years old. And let's say you are saving £50 because of better food choices, not eating out as much, etc, etc. Even though you still obviously can eat out, just minimize it and you save 50 quid, right? With that 50 quid, even if you put it into an index fund, it's got nominal rate of return, meaning before adjusted for inflation. You do that for 35 years, every single month, for £50 every single month, and allow it to accumulate. Your potential future investment value from just 50 quid a month will be £191,000, which is insane, because that is a mini retirement. And that's just from you saving money instead of buying overpriced food to saving your food shop. And this is why it's so important, because, and this is how important these small decisions are. And of course you can enjoy food, but you don't need to enjoy it that much so you get fat. Think about this, and the fact that even just saving 50 quid could make you almost £250,000 richer potentially in the future, which is almost again a mini retirement, because the power to change your life is the accumulation of your daily actions. If you're an ambitious man, which if you've stuck to this video so far, I'm sure you are, so please do give this video a like and also subscribe so we can grow this community further together of ambitious men. It's good to hold each other accountable and move each other forwards, because times will not get easier, but they can get better if you hang around other men that are ambitious like me and you. Make sure to check out the link in the description to see what I've made for you, my friends. YouTube recommends you watch one of these two videos over here. Click one and I'll see you over there.